Let's bring in Texas Senator Ted Cruz, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, joins us live here on Brett Baer's set today. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
What would your reaction be if you were competing in Iowa and the polling didn't work?
Look, this is nuts. You would be frustrated. You'd be angry. These candidates have spent months, if not over a year, busting their rear ends. I mean, knocking on doors. I feel bad really for the volunteers. I mean, going into an Iowa caucus, it is a labor-intensive. You've got people. We had people in 2016 who moved up from Texas, who moved from states all over the country to go to Iowa, and were out in the snow knocking on doors. We did, and that's a big deal when you get the results that you've won. I mean, it was a 17-person field. You know, the Dems got their field narrowed down before Iowa. But that's frustrating, and it's particularly frustrating for the surging and the insurgent candidates. A Joe Biden is perfectly fine with this outcome because the headline in all likelihood this morning would have been something like, Bernie Sanders wins Iowa. That has a big impact. The reason you invest in Iowa rarely wins the race, but it typically calls the field. For a number of people, Iowa can lose the race. So, for example, when we get results, if Bernie has a big win and Warren is third or fourth, that's a huge problem. That's potentially fatal for Warren's campaign, because Bernie's likely to win New Hampshire. And there's going to be, as these things go forward, one far-left candidate. Bernie and Elizabeth are in a death match over there. On the other hand, if you have, say, Buttigieg, who does really well, and Klobuchar does really poorly, that's the same dynamic, because they're competing for another lane. And right now, everyone's just in chaos. The volunteers who work so hard, I am sure there were tears of frustration.
What did it mean for you when you won Iowa?
It was breathtaking. So the Iowa caucus day, I mean, the way you campaign in Iowa, it's very retail. It's very much on the ground. It's one of the amazing things. Think about it. Someone who wants to be leader of the free world, it starts in a pizza ranch in Cedar Rapids. It starts in someone's living room at a house party in New Hampshire. And it starts with 20, 30, 40, 50 people who grill you. I mean, Tim Russert at the height of Meet the Press had nothing on Iowa ladies. I remember, a group of women sitting down with Heidi and saying, walk me through your faith life. Walk me through your prayer life. And I mean, it's a beautiful part of our democracy that, if you started in a big state like Texas or California, New York, it'd be all a TV paid advertising battle.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead, there's a very real vetting of voters who take their responsibility seriously. And so I'm frustrated right now that the operatives, the Democratic operatives in Iowa, can't get their act together. Now, I did just tweet a few minutes ago. It's interesting. Dems right now, they can't stand in the gymnasium and count who stands under which sign. And they're the ones who want to be put in charge of our health care and everything else in our life. I mean, these are the socialist candidates who say, we know best, trust us to run your life. Well, guys, how about figure out how to count your votes first?
Sure, and think about all the people in Iowa who went to stand in a gymnasium last night, and it's like, where is my number right there? In addition to you tweeting that out earlier, you were the world's #1 podcaster a couple of days ago, because people are fascinated by your point of view regarding the daily impeachment.
Well, that's been really a lot of fun and something we launched. On the first day of the impeachment trial, we launched a podcast. It's called Verdict with Ted Cruz. And it's every night after the trial. I just go, jump in a truck, head over to the studio, and record that night. And it's about 25 minutes. And it's my thoughts, it's reactions, it's what's going on inside. And what I try to do is talk about the facts and substance and the constitutional law at issue, but also laugh and have some fun. And it has been incredible. We went from non-existent to skyrocketing to the number one
podcast.
We passed Joe Rogan, who my 11-year-old actually not only knew who Joe Rogan was, she's like, wait a second, Joe Rogan interviewed Robert Downey Jr. How can you possibly be passing anyone who interviewed?
I know who's cool.
My dad?
But some of the chaos that's happened on the floor goes against is revolving around your ex-professor, Professor Dershowitz, who famously said that you were probably his smartest student and most astute student. Adam Schiff has gone so out of control with some of his proclamations. We thought this was just one we want to bring your attention to.
can't trust this president to do the right thing. What are the odds, if left in office, that he will continue trying to cheat? I will tell you, 100%. Not 5, not 10, or even 50, but 100%. If you have found him guilty and you do not remove him from office, he will continue trying to cheat in the election until he succeeds.
So he's just saying the president guaranteed will cheat if we do this again. Who is he swaying with these statements?
Nobody. And it was interesting. His closing, I thought Adam Schiff's closing was much less effective than his opening. In his opening, listen, Adam Schiff is a very talented trial lawyer. He tells a story, he paints a canvas, and he did an effective job for his side. By the closing, he was just pissed. And his closing was standing there basically yelling at the Senate, I can't believe you people aren't voting with me. I don't think that was effective, and I don't even think it was designed to be effective. I think he's just angry. And listen, we see that anger reflected among the far left base. The reason this impeachment happened is because the base is furious. They hate Donald Trump, and it's unfortunate that the Democratic Party today is defined by one thing: hatred of Donald Trump. Whatever Trump is for, he's against. If Trump tomorrow cured cancer, you would see the Dems screaming that he's contributing to world overpopulation.
Or they wouldn't talk about it. They would talk about something else. That's what the other networks do.
Last year at State of the Union, when President Trump said we have the lowest African-American unemployment in history, the Democrats all sat there with their arms crossed like, come on, guys, you can't applaud for our troops. You can't applaud for low unemployment, low African-American unemployment, low Hispanic unemployment. And I expect, as bad as last year was, tonight's going to be worse. They're so angry.
It's not going to end, is it? What's going to happen next? Is Schiff ever going to give up?
You know, it will end after an election. That's part of the beauty of our democratic system. This anger has to work its way out. It's going to work its way out one of two ways. One, the way that I hope it doesn't work out is if they're victorious. If this rage proves victorious and you see one of these wild-eyed lefties get elected president and they take over Congress, right, I think you'll see 2 years of horrific policy and they will go crazy far left. Wow. The other way it ends, and the way I hope it ends, is if they get repudiated, if they face a crushing rejection at the polls. That, you know, if you think back when Republicans impeached Bill Clinton, I think Republicans overstepped, and it hurt them. It reelected Bill Clinton. If you want to repudiate this craziness, the best way to do it is reelect the president, keep a Republican Senate, and take the gavel out of Nancy Pelosi's hands, because then they'll take the lessons, the Dems that remain. Hey, wait a second. If all we do is yell and scream, that's not what our voters want.
There's going to be yelling and screaming going into the hall tonight. Yeah. But do you think, given the fact that pretty much every Democratic senator, every Democratic House member voted to throw that guy who I'm sitting for 75 minutes to listen to out of office, and he's the president, and my party lost, this could be the most polarized studio audience in history?
It could be, and I expect to see some angry partisan Democrats behaving as sore losers. Let me tell you what I hope we see the president do, is I hope he goes above it. I hope we see tonight an optimistic, positive speech focused on victories, focused on successes, focused on the economic results, the security results. I talked to the president this weekend, and what I encouraged him, I said, look, don't even talk about impeachment. This is in the rearview mirror. Don't even talk about it. Lay out your vision. This is what we've accomplished together, and this is what we can keep accomplishing. That's what I hope we see tonight. And I'll tell you, I think just about every Republican senator, that's what we hope we see.
I know. Tonight. I think a lot of them are on the record saying, Senator, 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. You and the president famously went at it as bitter as anything I could ever seen, even something they wouldn't script in the WWE. You're over it. You talked to him over the weekend. Yeah. Why can't Mitt Romney get over it? Have you ever?
You know, I don't know. Mitt's got to figure out his own views. I like Mitt. I work well with him. I can tell you I got a job, which is to represent 28 million Texans, and that means I work with the president every single week.
Does he represent Utah?
He's got to, that's between him and his voters and the Lord Almighty. For me, at least, I faced a choice. It would have been very simple to take my marbles and go home and be offended, but then I wouldn't be doing my job. And there's too much work to be done. And so I've worked hand in hand with President Trump from the day he's been elected, and together we've accomplished incredible results for the country. That's what we're supposed to be doing. not these sort of games the Democrats are
He
playing.
showed up and helped you out in Texas.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Senator, great to see you. Thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you.